So that's our new fabrics and treatments. This is now moving on to our new trend. So we've done trend guides probably for the last 3 or 4 years. We didn't do one last year for obvious reasons, but we thought it was, about time that it was a good time to introduce new trends. We feel that people are changing their opinions on, how they work, where they work. Obviously, a lot of the world has been used to working from home. And now as we go back into the office environment, I think our opinions have changed what the office environment should look like. I think it should be more softer. We should feel more comfortable, not only safer, but I think that a work-life balance has changed. And I think that our workplace should reflect that. So this is our new trend guide. It's our 4th one to date. We actually have been working with a forecasting agency called Colour Hive. So although we have an in-house design team that's now led by Lynn Kingdom, and it's also interesting to note that Lynn Kingdom's background is also more of a domestic retail. She's worked with John Lewis, Laura Ashley, and I think you can see that in her inspiration on her new colours in Sumi. What we try to do when we look at these trend guides, we don't just want to say this is the trend for now. We almost like to be a bit future-proofed. So working with an agency like Colour Hive, they advise us on trends for possibly the next 2 years. So we always say that even though this is our trend guide for this year, it can also be used, longer than the first year or even the now. So we also didn't want to just do a trend guide and say these are the trends that we kind of see that are on trend or going to be on trend. We actually wanted to have a little bit more of a story about the trends. So we have 3 stories, 3 trends. And the way that we got to the 3 trends was by looking at a mood board of what kind of inspires us and what helps us to create. And these 5 words are ones that kept coming up constantly when we were trying to look for the stories. So appreciate, preserve, innovate, collaborate, and create. Appreciate is us appreciating our heritage. Some of the mills that we use are very old, and we're kind of still making fabric the same way as we've made hundreds of years. And that's why we want to preserve this way of making fabric, but we also want to innovate and use new materials like oceanic, where we've used sea waste, plastic sea waste. Collaborate, we want to work a lot more with designers, like our Colour Trend agency, and also designers that are using our fabrics. Rather than just say this is the fabric we think you want, you tell us what fabrics you would like and what colours are we missing in our collection. So we very much want to collaborate more. And obviously create, we like to be creative, but also we make fabric, which we're quite proud that we actually do make all our fabric in-house. So those 5 keywords kind of led us to our 3 stories, and these are our 3 trends. So we've got the master, the pioneer, and the collaborator. So the master is looking at the heritage, looking at how we've made fabrics for hundreds of years. The pioneer is how can we then move that forward? What new things can we do? How can we future-proof ourselves, like with the EnviroFlow 5? And then the collaborator is, how can we work together with other designers? Not many people know, but we also make transport fabric. And you'll see that we do a lot of fabric for London Underground, where we work with designers on the patterns. And that was quite important to us to have that collaborator within the collection. So as you go through the guide, you'll see that we've put images that inspire us, and we've also put images together of things that we work on and things that help us to make the fabrics. Obviously, you see here the master. We've been making fabrics from wool for hundreds of years in the same way. So that's one of our looms, and these are the kind of the tools of the trade. But what you find as well, even though these images are inspiring us by the meaning, it's also the colours in there that are inspiring us. So obviously there's a lot of a nod to the natural warm tones, which you can see when you turn over. More images of inspiration, so pictures of fields being harvested, because we use a lot of the plant fibres in the fabrics. And on the right hand side you can see a full palette of all the fabrics that we've chosen. They don't necessarily always work together, completely. You probably wouldn't use all the fabrics together in one scheme, but this is just showing you the fabrics that we've chosen for this scheme and this story. So the fabrics that we've used is quite a lot of blazer, Dartmouth, Edinburgh, Scottsdale. We've also used the new Sumi in Kyoto, and we've mixed that in with the deep Your Down. I think it's always important to have that kind of deep base colour, and it kind of brings everything together. These are the fabrics that we've chosen for the master. Then we show you how to work them individually as you would in a scheme. So for every trend and for every story, we've got 4 trend palettes. And what we've done this year as well, not only showed you the fabrics that work together, we've also showed you what surfaces or what materials work nicely with it. So for this particular one, we've got copper, cork, rattan, and then quite a light ashy wood, which just kind of adds that extra level for designers to understand how the fabrics work together in the scheme with other surface. And for the first time, what we've done as well in our trend guide, we've actually showed you then fabrics, in situ on furniture or inspirations. Obviously, the Japanese kind of inspired cabinet in the top right. So the next story is the Pioneer, a complete change from the Master. The Master was all about heritage and very earthy colours, taking a lot of inspiration from nature. This is a lot more futuristic. In the bottom there, we've got one of our examples of our technical knit products, which again is is we're pioneering in what we do there and how we make 3D knit. The top left picture is a Chinese artist that actually injects ink into marble, and you never know where it might take us. I wouldn't be surprised if we've started to inject or play around with dyes in fabric if this is what we've took inspiration from. So here you show us some more textures that kind of inspire us. There's a picture of the bottom of the chips, the plastic chips from the plastic bottles or sea waste, and then this is the palette that we've chosen to represent the Pioneer. So obviously a lot of oceanic in there, as it's our new pioneering fabric using the polyester sea waste, but we've also got Era in there as well, and one of our US products, cork. So the fabrics that we've used, Era, Vita, Oceanic, and cork. Again, it's a very different palette from the first one. There's lots of purples and pinks, and we think that purple is going to be a big colour, and we try and introduce a lot more purple tones into the collection. So here's the 4 different trends that we've picked for the Pioneer, and then the different surfaces that we've got in there as well. So we've got a knitted texture in there, and we've got a very shiny chrome in there as well. So again, this is showing you the application. And again, I think this picture really shows it off Oceanic well and shows how it's got that 3D almost like corduroy effect when it's upholstered, which you don't get when you see it flat, as you can see on the pictures. You get a completely different effect of the fabric. The top right is one of our 3D knit products that we've done. That's for a lighting by Zero. Anything that you see that's inspired you, have got your little tags at the bottom that explain what the fabric is or what the product is. But at the back of the guide as well, you've also got a reference to all the the pictures and the artists that we've included. Last but not least, this is the collaborator. We do work with a lot of designers on projects that we might not see in our collection. The fabric that you can see there in the bottom left, that's by a design by Ella Duran. So she's an artist that actually took fleece from the Yorkshire Dales. It literally came to Camira with the fleeces. We turned them into fabric, and then this is one of the designs that she came up with. And I definitely think Yorda fabric was a nod to this project, where we started to use British wool in our collection for Yorda. So here you go. This is, again, completely different to the other 2 palettes. Very colourful, but more deeper than the previous one. Lots of bright colours in there. And again, looking at primary colours, but making them more sophisticated. Lots of mossy greens, which we use a lot at the moment, and really deep rusty reds. Even though there's bright colours, I think this is still a nod almost to nature. You can see that moss in there and autumn reds. And here you go. Here's our last colour palette of the 4 palettes for this trend. Here you can see we've teamed it with stitched leather, a really nice ceramic yellow, a walnut wood, which I don't think is going away, a copper. I think you'll see when you split them up into the 4 categories, it looks very different to the picture of all the fabrics together. Just to mention that at the bottom of all these trends, you have got the little codes. So if you did want to then go ahead and order the fabrics yourself, all the codes are already there for you to quickly order online. So there you go. As you can see, there's a famous London Underground fabric that we work with Wallace and Sawwell. That's a design agency that we work with to come up with those patterns. And then in the top right corner is one of our fabrics that we launched last year in collaboration with the designer Camira. So the last part of the book is just showing you how you can take those colours further. So these are all the fabrics that are chosen for the 3 different stories. We've put them here in a colour wheel, so like you could with any colour wheel, you could use them in 3s. So you could pick the yellow, a couple of greens, or if you can move down, you could pick maybe some of the purples and pinks together. And obviously with the colour wheel, you can also then go directly opposite and have a contrasting colour that matches as well. And there you have all the list of all the fabrics. So if you did want to go ahead and order them all and play around. We've then taken that one step further and done these 6 colour wheels, just to give you a little bit more of the, a trend. So you've got the naturals, you've got the warms, you've got the blues, you've got a very graphical one in the bottom left. And it's also great with this, you've got an explanation of the, the trends and why we've picked those colours. I will send you an email to everybody with more links. So if there's anything, for instance, the Stay Safe, there's so much technical, information that you might get asked. So we have a question and answer document to go with Stay Safe, and the same as Environment 5. So I'll send everybody an email with links on, so you can have a little read, and if somebody asks the questions, they're there for you to resource to access.
Yeah, no, super, appreciate that.
Great, thanks, Liam.
Yeah, no, and again, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you.
Okay, speak soon. Okay, take care. Thanks.
Yeah.